Can I just say your costume was the best?
No, Ross's was the best by far. The people would agree.
Well, I mean, I like Elton John, but I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, which is why I thought yours was the best.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm just going to put it out there.
I'm still going to say Ross's was the best.
Fine, he does make a great candle in the wind. Here's some news. We have the reason for the Cain Velasquez-Brock Lesnar match going short at Crown Jewel last night. We have an update on a former WWE Champion in Ring of Honor, and more details on the AEW Lights Out match at Full Gear. We'll get to that soon. So one of the big shockers from last night's Crown Jewel was the Brock Lesnar-Cain Velasquez match. Your thoughts on that?
I get you've signed Cain to a multi-year deal. Everybody keeps saying he's a big attraction. He was a big attraction, but he's not really once you've got him on a multi-year deal. He's a normal member of the roster at that point, and there was no way that he was going to beat Brock. That just wasn't going to happen. But I think we were all expecting a bit more of a contest than just like 2 minutes.
It seemed very short and sweet, and a little bit sloppy as well.
I don't know. It just felt like ring the bell straight to the finish.
Crack on with it. Well, there is some reason behind this, according to Dave Meltzer at the Wrestling Observer, who says the idea was always for a short match, with the Paul Heyman style Goldberg match being laid out, which did very good money in Survivor Series. But with Velasquez's knee in such bad shape, they changed it to a match where nothing much happened. The belief is that he needs surgery, and there's no word on the status of the Mexico City match, but I think he'd want to do that if possible. This is the tag match he's having with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, well, at least that's
Mexico
a tag.
City. Yes, we can rest a little bit.
You can rest a bit more, yeah.
He was banged up before even we got to Saudi Arabia. He was in pretty bad shape.
This was it. It was sort of like nobody knew whether it was going to require surgery. I bet WWE were sit there, fingers crossed, just like really, really praying that it didn't. But it's, I mean, they've just signed a guy to a multi-year deal and he's probably already out. So this is...
That is not the best of times. I have to say, I wasn't a fan of that match at all. I thought, and a few people have got on my case about it. I'm going to ask you politely to get off my back about this, but because it just feels like it feels like he was jobbed out.
It was a load of bull.
Kind of match.
It was a load of bull. It was a load of bull.
There we go.
I will stand by that. It was a load of bull. Like, I know that he's injured. I know that Lesnar is going to have to win anyway, but like
that.
You know, I liked the opening exchanges. It was great. They made the whole deal about like announcing his UFC record and everything, and it was like, yeah, okay. And then boom, that was it, done.
Some people said, it's because Brock Lesnar needed his win back.
No, I don't think. This is like.
Come on, it's Hogan Warrior from Halloween Havoc.
I think Brock has very little to do with the booking here. I don't think Brock's sitting Shawn Michaels in his way around backstage. I think it's very much WWE that will be writing the storylines here. I don't think Brock particularly cares one way or the other, as long as, paychecks keep coming and he keeps being featured prominently, which he is. But I just expected more.
And here's the thing as well. Here's the kicker for me, and which I went at length about in Graded. This is the match that you sacrificed Kofi Kingston's title reign for.
I don't think it is. This isn't. It's not
really
canon. It's not canon. This is. I have a big issue with this, because it's. You sacrificed Kofi's title reign for this match. It's like, okay,
that's what I feel like.
You didn't.
Really?
Brock Lesnar's still got the belt. Eventually, something will happen properly in storyline. This was just an aside. This was just Cain Velasquez is in.
But it's more the fact that, had it not been on that SmackDown, Kofi loses the belt in like a nanosecond, and then out comes Velasquez immediately after. Like Kofi is barely out of the ring. I think before look at him.
Just count our blessings that is done and moved on, and hopefully we can move on to a program that will sort of lead to the big downfall of Lesnar, because I don't think the Velasquez thing was ever going to be that. Which is what I mean. For me, it's just an aside. It's like, this is happening. Get it out the way, right? Main storyline time.
Lesnar Mysterio?
You're going to give it to Dominic, imagine that.
Lesnar Dominic? Oh my days.
That requires Lesnar to hold the belt for probably another 3 years while Dominic climbs the ranks. So it's a slow burner, but, I
like the idea of Dominic becoming the Rocky of our time. 3 years working his way up the ladder to finally get a piece of... It's like Gladiator.
Hits the entrance ramp, trips over, knocks himself out cold, and everybody's like, no!
Staying on Crown Jewel, there was a lot of talk about the women's match at the end of it. I thought very simple, very basic women's match. I felt weird grading it. Didn't really feel like a match to grade.
I don't think the focus here shouldn't be on what type of match it was, whether it was good or bad. It was the first women's wrestling match in Saudi Arabia. That's a very big deal. You know, love it or hate it, you know, say what you will about the events and everything. It was history. We did watch history in front of our eyes. You know,
It was, yeah. It was an occasion, and Natalia very much felt the occasion. A few people, including Dave Meltzer, the Observer, have said that at times during that match you could see the emotion almost overcoming Natalia.
Yeah.
She said that she saw this as the most important thing she has ever done in her career, and she also said afterwards, during the match, she felt like she was having an out-of-body experience because it was sort of that pressing upon her, and it did feel like, and you could see in her, like you could see her stood there with like her eyes welling up.
Yeah.
She was waiting for the match to start.
I was really annoyed that somebody threw a water bottle at her.
Yeah, that was a bit unnecessary.
Yeah. There were people just throwing clothing onto the ramp all night as well, which was weird, like t-shirts and caps, and like people just like throwing stuff onto the ramp. I don't know, that's just the done thing.
Is that what happens now?
The water bottle, certainly, no, that was upsetting, but you know, it didn't detract from what it meant for obviously Natalia and I imagine Lacey as well.
It was very strange to see that match as pulled back as it was. Like even like a lot of Lacey's character was very simplified in that match. Like
part of me is thinking that match was sort of blocked out beat for beat, performed for the Sports Authority, and then it was tweaked and approved, and that was it. And then it was, you do this, 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 and this, which is why it sort of felt like it was at half speed. Yeah,
that could possibly have been it. But it was, you know, and I know there's a bigger conversation to have here, but I'd say, look, it happened. It should happen more often. Let's see it happen more often. Joey Mercury in the news today. Do you remember him? He was the one that broke his face on a ladder that time. Oh, that still gives me chills.
I can still, if somebody mentions it, I close my eyes. I can still see that picture they released of his face all stitched up and bloated.
That was messy times. Unfortunately, his run with Ring of Honor has come to an end, according to PW Insider. He's been working at the training dojo and also part of the creative team since May last year. And it looks like Mercury has been removed from all his positions this week. It was a mutually agreed decision, but he's still with the company until the end of his no-compete period. This seems very sudden. And so normally this would just be like a parting of the ways with a company and a handshake, thank you very much. But it's almost like to be taken off the job that quick and to be told, don't do anything else.
It could be a case of like, there might have been like it could be an incident. It could be something where there was an agreed upon situation where, you know, if we don't do this and we don't do that, then it's bye, and then that's an agreed upon thing, and none of those have happened, and bye. But the non-compete thing's interesting because I mean,
that immediately makes you think
he's off to AEW or he's off to the Fed.
M&M reunion in the WWE. Yeah. That was my first thought. Was obviously because John Morrison potentially is part of that company. Johnny Nitro, Johnny Stem Cell, whatever his name is today. But obviously he's rumoured to be back in the WWE. Joey Mercury with this. In my brain, I just went, M&M coming back.
No.
Flash bulbs, baby.
No.
Oh, why?
If you're going to have Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Film guy now, if you're going to have him come back, I think it needs to be a big like singles run. Because I think he is the one that people care about the most, as horrible as it is to say.
Oh, sorry, Joey, mate.
But I think Joey's been doing a lot of backstage stuff and really excelling at that. I'm sure he was working... Was he working for WWE?
He was, yeah. Him and Jamie Noble were the Authority's
they were like
stooges.
Yeah, they were like a pretty, good team together. So I think you could maybe do something more with that. Or, I don't know, maybe he goes back into a backstage position or he goes to AEW.
Oh, Joey Mercury news. You heard it here first. First place for Joey Mercury news all the time. Me and Sam only. Nobody else.
And the people we're reading it from.
Nah. We got this ourselves. And finally, a little bit of light being shed on AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view. Are we excited for Full Gear, Sam?
Yes, and sort of tentatively concerned about this judging system thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make that seem impartial.
Well, RoboCop is designed to uphold the law. And he's part of StarCast, so if he goes, he's a fair hand to be one of the judges.
Until he gets hacked.
Oh God!
And
If
he gets turned against his prime directive.
OCP run the cops.
And he's got the hidden directive as well, doesn't he? Which he doesn't know about. The whole
hidden directive is job out, Cody. So he's going for our Starcast. He's definitely one of the judges. So yeah, so the judges thing is quite an interesting wrinkle. It's a bit of an old school, new school thing that AEW are doing. Yeah. They're also doing this lights out match, this unsanctioned match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega.
It better have no lights.
Well, here's the thing.
It better have no lights.
Oh, you are going to be in for a treat. So from Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, Jon Moxley.
The phone lights.
That'd be class.
And they just turn them off.
Hey, we've seen on a major federation recently.
All you hear
working
is just like
with no lights
the ring
is
just
fine.
going.
You're not far off.
1, 2.
Moxley and Omega will be a lights out match. Besides meaning no DQ, it also means it goes on last. The idea is that the show will finish after Jericho versus Cody. So there's a 60-minute time limit. If it goes the distance, they do the judging. There's your winner, there's your champion, thank you very much. Then the crowd will be asked to leave, but whilst they're being told to leave, we'll have Moxley and Omega with the main lights off. Happening. Now, I don't know if it will go down exactly like that.
First off, right. So
unpack this for us.
Lights don't go off at the end of a show. The house lights come on. So if anything, it's going to be more light.
Lights up match.
Second, are they going to work the audience into thinking they have to leave?
Don't look at this match.
Just erect like a little curtain around the whole ring.
Ignore this. Ignore what's happening here. I don't mind in principle.
Yeah.
I don't mind the whole thing of. But this is where you book yourself into a corner. These two could have just had a no DQ match. It's fine.
When I first heard this, I thought it was going to be like they will go on last and there is no time limit. They have until the lights of the building are shut off. Like, they have until the very end of that night's booking. Because when you book a venue, you have a curfew of, like, whatever time, and you'll basically be told, oh, you need to be out of here by 1 a.m. And that means all the gear, all of everything, whatever, by set time. So they have until that sort of very last cut-off before everything has to be taken down.
Until the janitor walks in with that big, weird-shaped broom.
Imagine they
and starts
taking
whistling.
They start taking the ramp away, just in the ring.
Do you want a broom, mate? No, I'm just fighting. It's fine. Yes, I whether this goes down the way that Dave Meltzer has suggested that it will is yet to be seen. But part of me is perversely intrigued by the idea of the lights out match going down like this.
Yeah, I think it makes...
Because the whole issue I have is the fact that it's an unsanctioned match, yet we're putting it all over our advertising.
Well, if you do your unsanctioned match properly, it should just go on. There should be no music. There should be nothing. It should be like Ciampa coming out for Ciampa Gargano. But when it was like unsanctioned, it shouldn't have any support from the company. It should just be literally, boom, get in the ring, let's have a fight. Like, it should just be the same as like any normal fight on a street. There's no entrance music. There shouldn't really be a crowd. There should be police called.
They should be wearing stretchy mom jeans.
Yes.
In order to get the most leverage.
Hands taped up.
Yeah.
Wacky lines.
I'm intrigued. Big red light, because that always works in a main event. Big red lights.
Yeah.
It's like if you're watching it on a virtual boy. Yeah. Big red lights. It's worked for the WWE. It worked for AEW. Have a good weekend. Love you. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.